So in this video I'll take a look at the Mi-8MT helicopter, and the previous video was just a demonstration of the power of the rockets. But in this video we're going to take a detailed look at the helicopter. Okay, so it comes in two variants. Well, it's just different Arma and presets. Okay, you got the Mi-8MT. If you go to the helipad, you can see the price. It's $2,625 for both variants. And the first one is an HE variant, and the second one is an HEDP variant. And in this game, because I don't think in real life it's called HE or HEDP, it's just a different Arma and preset. Okay, so the one on the helipad is an HE variant. Okay, so I'll start with the fire controls in the helicopter. See, I really like that animation they just did. I think they really improved it from the previous patches. Notice here, when the character presses with his leg into the edge to lift himself up, you can really feel the strain in his leg when he's doing that. Okay, so now here's a weird thing when you're flying with helicopters in this patch, is that the Freelook mode is sort of messed up. So when you get into the helicopter, Freelook is always activated. Now to lock it, so your mouse controls helicopter sticks, is you have to double tap Alt. Then the mouse doesn't move anymore. And then when you press Alt again, it does like that. Which is really irritating, because if you're using Freelook as a character, you can just hold it, which enables it, and when you let go, it snaps back to normal view. Okay, so here's the fire controls. So the first one is you have side elevation. So you hold F, you can mouse wheel up and down. Now the problem with that dial is that it moves really slow. I think it should be able to move faster, because it takes a long time to get it to a certain point. And the second problem is you don't have a brightness dial, which it should have, because during flight it gets really irritating, because you have to fly zoomed in like that to see something. Because if you're zoomed out, and I'm using one of the upscaling methods, then you can see here the crosshair gets really blurry, and it's actually hard to see what you're aiming at. Okay, then you have fire controls up here, and I don't think it's fully implemented yet, because the top setting cannot be changed. The top setting, you can't even select it. It's fire mode ripple. The second setting is weapon station select, which also is sort of weird, because the numbers don't appear to make sense. So you have auto, not sure what auto exactly does. Then you have 3 and 4, which are the inner stations. And then you have 1, 2, 4, 6. And in DCS, it's numbered like that. The furthest to the left is 1, and then it goes all the way like this. So I'm not sure why the numbering is 1, 2, 4, 6, and not 1, 2, 5, 6, if they mean the altitude pylons. And then you have ripple quantity. Ripple quantity, how many rockets you want to fire per pod, which means if you have 16, when you click, you fire all the rockets from all pods, because one pod has 16 rockets in it. 8 and 4. So keep this one to auto. And if you want to see how many are fired per pod, you can just fire like that. Now you go into the outside view, and you can just look inside the tube which rockets are missing. Let's see, 4 are missing from each pod like that. Now the other thing is about this helicopter, it comes fully armed with the passenger capacity, and it has the machine guns from the normal armed helicopter. So it's an extremely powerful vehicle, because you get all the previous weapon armaments on top of it. Okay. Now let's take a look at how rearming works in a helicopter. Now it's currently, I wouldn't say it's bugged, it's not complete because it's experimental. So let's say you have some rockets empty over here, you can click on resupply, hold F, but it actually doesn't resupply. I think it's currently a bug in this version. And the second action, I'm not sure what it does. I think it's probably filling a different rocket type into it, because it doesn't have an in-game label yet. Then you can say refund. That means you're selling, or you're moving the rocket from the pod back into the, back into the supply. So you can empty out the entire pod. When the entire pod is empty, you can actually detach it from the helicopter like that. And now it's on the floor. And you can actually pick it up, but it's bugged. Currently it acts like an item you can sling on your shoulder. And it looks really stupid, that's why I'm not going to do it. Because that thing, I think, weighs empty 100 kilos. So it should make sense that you cannot pick it up like that. And there's two problems here. The first one is the one with the that I mentioned a few videos ago is that refueling or reloading helicopters shouldn't just be a matter of standing there and holding F until all the things pop in place. It should be something physical where you, for each rocket, you walk to a box, you pick it up, and there's a nice animation with both hands because I think one of them weighs, 30 kilos. And there should be an animation where you stuff it into the helicopter or into the pod. And some players say it's too tedious, it's not fun, but I think it's the opposite because I think any activity, if it's properly animated, is going to be fun. And the second thing is that if I play some type of support role, I'm running around on a helipad and rearming helicopters as they come back in. I want this to be something engaging and physical, which means I'm walking to a place, picking something up that's physical, and then carrying it somewhere else and stuffing it into the machine, and the machine then goes somewhere else and does something with it. Similar to a mortar. Like you want there to be some physicality to it. And some players make the argument that nobody wants to do that type of work, but I think that's not the case in this game, because they have many situations where I would be in a BTR 70, and I would roll into a base after some battle and ask players, hey guys, can I get a refueling or repair? And I immediately got 5 or 6 players immediately homing onto the BTR and starting to help me repair it. So I think players want to help each other in that type of work. That's why I think animating the rocket loading should be realistic. And another point players make is that it would take too much time to load 96 rockets on the Mi-8. Yeah, I mean it should, because you can carpet bomb an entire base with one salvo. And if you got 96 rockets, you can just fire 4 salvos and kill 4 bases with it. So it should take time. And here's another cool thing. You can actually configure the helicopter to use fewer pods, as you just saw, by me removing it on the ground. And here's something that doesn't make sense. You can only buy the helicopter at full price for $2,625. And I calculated if you strip all the rockets and the pods out and then buy them, then for the rockets, for the total load, you pay, I think, what was it, 480 credits. And the pods 6 times is also 480 credits. So you pay 960 credits to fully arm the helicopter. So it's a bit stupid because now you have to pay for the full helicopter price, and when it's placed, then you can remove some of it to get some of the cost back. Let's say, for example, if you only want to carry 2 rocket pods in the battle. So what the game should do is, should allow you to buy the helicopter at the base price without any rockets on it, just with the pylons enabled. And then you can, as you have supplies, you can pack more rockets on it as you need it. Because it doesn't make sense to have to pay the full price up front and then being able to refund parts of it. And there's another thing I'd like to suggest is, I'm not sure if the fire control stations, I think they should have some type of rotas. Maybe that's the first option, it's not implemented yet, so you can only fire 1 or 2 rockets per shot. Because it's a bit limiting if you always have to fire a large salvo every time you click. And also wonder why the game doesn't have 122mm rocket pods. Maybe they're going to add it at some point, because I think this helicopter can actually carry them. And they're much more powerful than the S5. Because I hope they're not going to limit this helicopter's loadout realism based on some type of balance concern. Because obviously this helicopter is much more powerful than a Huey with, I think, his total rocket capacity of 14 rockets. But that's how it is in real life. So overall, I think it's a pretty exciting baseline to have that. If you're able to reconfigure on the ground the helicopter armament. And actually seeing it physically lying around on the ground like that is actually pretty cool too. Now if they would add some type of animated helicopter reloading, and even like as an additional suggestion, like just, let's say you want to load the machine guns in a helicopter. What you could do is, like, let's say you have a 500 round PKM box. I'm not sure if the magazine is 500 on this one or 250. So you should be able to get to the box, carry it with both hands because it's probably really heavy. Carry it. Then go to the entry of the helicopter, and there should be an animation where the character basically hoists the thing into the thing. So it's like a generic animation where the character basically, imagine somebody waiting there to pick it up from your hands, and you just lifting it with both hands to that person. That may seem trivial, but it would really help fill out the animation gap that's currently existing in rearming or refueling gameplay. I mean, refueling gameplay is actually there for the most part, because in some vehicles you can refuel by just holding F without having to even use the the gas canister, which I think is lame. So I think overall it's a pretty good baseline. But if they fill it up with more animations, I think it would make it feel more real.